Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Talk with Erica. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday. Now, today I have a very special guest. It's Mayor Cunningham. Joining me once again is Karen Cunningham, Mayor of the Village of Palmetto Bay. Mayor Cunningham is a native of Miami-Dade County. She's an accomplished teacher, activist, and advocate for education. She began her career teaching first grade and has been with Miami-Dade Public Schools for 18 years. Mayor Cunningham joins me on this Monday's episode of Today's Talk with Erica to discuss the many improvements of the village of Palmetto Bay. The last time we spoke, we were in the heart of COVID closures. So, Mayor Cunningham, welcome. How are you?
Very good, very good. So by the time this gets put out, we'll be a little bit further down the road with COVID because Miami-Dade County is entering phase two. And for those folks with children in schools, that's going to be another adjustment because the county is going to go to a kind of a blended model with the local public schools, where you'll have some students whose parents want their children in the school. And so some teachers will be returning. And then some parents will still want their children to remain at home. And so we'll still have some virtual component here in Miami-Dade County. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that rolls out.
Yeah, that's a huge part of what's happening right now. We've got kids going back to school. And so that is what a dynamic. You've got some going back into school and some who still have to do everything via Zoom and Skype and everything else. Okay.
Yeah, so we've been,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, we've been pretty successful here with the private schools because most of the private schools in Palmetto Bay have already started back with on-site instruction. So, and then some of them are doing a little bit of a blended model, kind of like what the school district will be doing, where you've got some students at home and some that are, in the brick and mortar. So.
Okay. That was kind of my question. I mean, that's wonderful to hear. And then the other part of my question was going to be, how's the village of Palmetto Bay moving forward in the midst of COVID in the sense of parks and rec and other aspects of the city?
Yeah, so for the most part, we've taken the lead of the county, and I think I mentioned when I was on last time that as it relates to the emergency orders of the Miami-Dade County mayor, there is a little bit of a trickle down. So we can only strengthen anything that goes out from the county. We can't weaken it. So what we're seeing now as we enter into phase two is there'll be more businesses opening, which I think is going to be somewhat exciting, especially in a city like the village of Palmetto Bay, where a lot of the local businesses are, they're mom and pop businesses. The people live here in the village or nearby. So being able to do some of those reopenings, I think, will be significant. We already, a couple weeks ago, started back with the restaurants in the community. Again, many of them not big franchise restaurants, not big restaurants, just local, hometown, village feel kind of restaurants. So those restaurants were able to open with 50% of their regular capacity. And then, of course, outdoor seating. We've accommodated many restaurants in the community, providing them outdoor seating. You know, I know there's Bay in our name, but not
Right.
any of our, there's no restaurants that are on the Bay. So, maybe less scenic parking lots, but, still trying to accommodate businesses and make sure that they can do what they do, provide to our community members, and still, we want to be maintaining some of the precautions that are necessary, like the wearing of face masks and hand washing and sanitizing and social distancing so that we can keep those numbers down.
That was going to be my next question. What's going on with the face masks? I know that, of course, it's mandatory in certain places. What are the rest? I mean, restaurants are generally just asking everyone to kind of walk in with a face mask on and then you don't wear one after that.
Correct. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So here in Miami-Dade County, and of course, more specifically, the village of Palmetto Bay, face masks are required when outdoors, especially, and there has been quite a bit of enforcement as it relates to that. Uh, I think it was kind of instituted because they wanted to maintain these more commercial areas where you've got a lot of people walking around, you don't need to wear a face mask if you're exercising or anything
Okay.
of the like. So.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Um, how is the village of Palmetto Bay really handling the challenges created by the pandemic? And I know I was going through, you've got a newsletter, and we're going to get to all the different venues that, you guys have, because you've got Keeping in the Loop and you send out newsletters. But I understand now you're working with other municipalities to receive fair distribution of the CARES Act for your city. You want to explain that?
Sure. So we have 34 municipalities in Miami-Dade County. We all fall under the umbrella of the Miami-Dade League of Cities. The Miami-Dade League of Cities has done a really outstanding job of making sure that all 34 municipalities, both the mayors and the council and the managers, because many of our cities, like the Village of Palmetto Bay, we're a manager council form of government. I don't get to make all the decisions by myself. We as a council give direction to the CEO of the village, in our case, the village manager. So they've worked with us. We have our city, our village has submitted our expenses, we've got quite a few expenses under the CARES Act. And the county is the one that is in the process of distributing the money to the municipalities. So very important, because a lot of the things that we spent money on here in the village are things like policing efforts, um, additional hours for code compliance, and not only the code compliance component, but also helping businesses to reopen, to kind of help them configure their business so that people are entering in a safe way. Uh,
Mhm.
the things that you would expect, like making sure there's hand sanitizer, not only at Village Hall, but in the other public spaces, and then additional police services.
That's wonderful. Okay, very nice to hear. I think that a lot of people had the same question, so that's good to hear. Um, how many, how have you been keeping your residents informed of updates and improvements? And I know that falls upon, you've got your Facebook Live show called Keeping You in the Loop, which is now advertised on my mobile app.
I know. I'm very excited
I
about
love it.
that.
And you send out the newsletters with important dates, public meetings, etc. Where else can folks find information about the city, what's happening in Miami-Dade, and more importantly, the village?
Sure. So, I would say this, and the Village of Palmetto Bay, like many cities, initially you kind of go through that um, transition as we were trying to figure out what exactly this pandemic was going to mean to our local communities. During the month of August and July, and now moving into September, the village is conducting their regular business. So even though Village Hall is closed, all of the business that's happening in there is accessible to the residents in one way or another, either via online, or they're able to make contact and have appointments with village staff. We've also moved forward during the month of August with a lot of projects. August is kind of a downtime, just like you would folks go on vacations, and
Right.
not this year, but they would go on vacations and such. School's normally out during that time. We've done a lot of street paving, um, provided activities, online activities, worked on park improvements, worked with the county on some bigger projects, infrastructure projects within the village. So a lot of exciting things and a lot of exciting work continuing even during the pandemic.
That's fantastic. Well, that's good to know. Very nice. Some of the creative ways that folks are keeping active. I'd say you've got a lot of stuff on Twitter as well, by the way. That's how folks can kind of keep up. Is that right? There's
Sure. So we send out the village sends out weekly emails. Which you mentioned already, I like to be very active on social media. I think people like to know what's going on in the community. I send out at least once weekly emails, keeping folks in the loop, because I think that it's important not only for them to know what's going on during these challenging times, but also to know how we're connecting with our residents. I started a new program in in the village a couple of weeks ago, keeping in step with you. So I'm walking different communities because people are staying kind of close to home, even during these times as we're moving into phase two. So taking an hour to walk a park or walk in a local neighborhood so people can stop and ask me questions, being accessible to our community is super important to me. And
I
of
love that.
yeah, and of course, we've done a lot. We have an amazing staff. We've done a lot with our senior activities in our community. We just started an app. It's called Band, B-A-N-D, that people can log into. You have to download the app on
Okay.
your phone, but it will keep you updated on what activities, virtual activities, of course, we have going on for our seniors.
I love that. And that was another part of a question I was going to ask. The seniors, the senior population has really gotten to know a lot of techie stuff with what's happening.
They have.
It's like grandparents and some folks' moms now know how to work Zoom and their cell phones and everything else. And so it's an important way to keep informed. And this pandemic really threw the senior population into learning how to do all of this stuff, because outside of this, they really didn't have to know how to use, their techie stuff.
Sure, yeah. It's funny because as you were saying that, I was thinking, like me, I'm a mom and have struggled.
Myself included.
Anyway, have struggled every once in a while with, with some of the technology. But yeah, so our seniors have done an amazing job in the community of connecting. We've worked with some really amazing partners. Baptist Hospital, which you may be familiar with, is a big deal here in the South Florida
Mhm.
community. They've got all kinds of activities. My sister actually works at the Cancer Institute. She's a harpist, and they Zoom her while she's playing and put that out to the local community, which is kind of cool. And
Wow.
then the Metropolitan Opera, so many different museums have virtual tours people can take in lieu of actually visiting them. And I think our seniors have stepped right up there and, so that they can remain engaged. And I don't think, I mean, something tells me that moving forward, even though hopefully at some point we'll be able to have even this conversation face to face, I think we're going to be zooming around for quite some time. I think that we'll be able to stay connected. I just met yesterday. Well, actually, I think it was, well, I met recently with our chairpersons of all of our committees. We have a very robust committee structure in Palmetto Bay. We've got 10 different committees and task forces that work on different things. And it was really so
I have a
fun.
thunderstorm here. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. One's coming my direction too. So if everything goes dark, you'll know
Yeah,
why.
there was such a loud boom. I thought, ooh, okay. Didn't want to interrupt you, but the thunder did. So,
No, no problem, no problem. So we were able to connect. I was able to connect with all the chairs, and as we were chatting, we were talking about all the things that the individual committees have accomplished over the course of the last couple of years. And let me tell you, when we got done, it was pages of things that a small group of volunteers in our community have done. Number one, many of those volunteers, seniors, and they enjoyed being able to connect and hear across the board, whether it was economic development or art in public places, what all the other committees were doing. So I kind of see this component of being able to meet virtually and stay connected virtually, even though I know everyone's excited to get back together in groups. I think this is going to stick around for a while.
yeah, as it should, as it should. You know, in October, the entire month of October, I'm going to make today's talk with Erica geared towards Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, I know that we're, Monday, it's September 14th, Monday. So we're halfway there. I don't know, does the village do anything for Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
So I'm so glad you asked because we've arranged with Florida Mammography, Mobile Mammography, FloridaMobileMammography.com. I
Wow.
won't spell that because that will take about a minute and a half. But I did send the information out in my emails, and so you can go online or give them a call and schedule an appointment. We're going to be doing that in November because last year they were booked all of October, and obviously you know that you can only um, impose on your insurance once a year for those mammograms.
Hmm.
So we encourage guys and gals, because I'm sure you'll have a lot of experts on during October. It's not just us ladies that should get those checks every once in a while. But they can schedule, they're going to be in November 20th. So it's going to be during November, but we'll be
Okay.
pushing out the information all during the month of October, and also sharing out information that, great organizations like our local hospitals, including Baptist Health, are the activities they're doing in the community as well.
Wow. I am going to have a lot of experts on in October. Of course, we're going to have
Okay.
several people on each Monday throughout October, on every Monday. And you should be a part of that. And we could talk about what the village is doing.
That'd be great. I would love that.
And even you were expressing the harpist. How do you know the harpist again? I
I'm
apologize.
so sorry. That just, yeah, it just kind of came out because she's very near and dear to me, my sister.
Your sister. No, you said that. Yeah, I've
You know
forgotten
what made
because,
me think of it was you were just with your sister. I remember seeing something
yes,
and I was like, oh, you were just with your sister. And I don't know, I just looked at you and I had a sister moment. We were talking about Baptist. So,
I love
yes,
it.
she does music therapy there. So,
But I would love to have her on because
oh, that would be great.
not a lot of people know that that's something that that people do. I think a lot of people know that therapy dogs walk through the hospitals, but maybe they
Sure.
don't know about a harpist. So that is a wonderful addition. I'd love to have her on. And I do want to make mention real quickly, any links, anything we talk about in these shows, you can find in the info and about me sections on my YouTube channel and the audio podcasts.
Great.
And I have the all-in-one link, which is a Linktree link where you can find everything, my mobile apps, all of my websites, the IMDb page, and everything there. And I failed to mention that at the beginning of the show, but you can
That's
find
okay. I
everything
follow
there.
you, and you have a lot of amazing experts on. I think I've heard everything from psychics to that was an interesting program,
Yeah.
to real estate. So, and
Yeah.
everything in between. I'm not really covering the gamut, but to local elected officials like me, which is
Yeah.
very cool.
That's what I had tried to make today's talk with Erica about, just a bunch of different, there's no rhyme or reason. We have a bunch of different people who, I know that around the holidays as well, I've asked a lot of life coaches to come on. I know that the holidays are an extremely stressful time for a lot of people. So I said, you know what? All of my life coach friends and everyone
Sure.
can come on and talk about the Thanksgiving, ruckus, and then the Christmas blues after the Christmas blues, like once the, family leaves. And so it's going to be a whole discussion
And
about.
you can include the pandemic mess in all of that.
Yes, yes, because I'm pretty sure that that's also going to play a huge part in how
Yeah,
families get
absolutely.
together.
Absolutely. Sure. Sure.
I think I lost your audio. Can I? Uh-oh.
I
Are
Yes,
you
I'm
there?
here.
I bet you my thunderstorm knocked everything out.
I can
I
I
can
can
hear you low. You got really low all of a sudden.
Okay. Is that any better?
It's a little better.
Hmm.
You gotta
Go
love
figure.
technology.
Technology, right?
I need
Go
an engineer
figure.
in here. Oh my goodness.
Well, you're
Um,
doing a great job. So I
well,
appreciate you
thank you.
having me on the show. I'd like to do this every month just to kind of keep folks updated on what's
Absolutely.
happening in beautiful Palmetto Bay.
Yes, and we'll do that. I'm going to have you on every single month. And again, Breast Cancer Awareness Month next month, I'll definitely have you back on and we'll talk about you can be on with your sister. That would be awesome. We'll have
Yeah, I think that's going to be the best fit for her, because she would say, I was thinking about it, and she would say, I'm not comfortable doing that. You have people looking at you all the time. But yeah, we'll try that together. We'll try some sister talk time with Erica.
I like it. I like it. It won't just be us. I'll have on because I have so many doctors who I need to speak with in that amount of time. So it'll just be a small segment. She won't be on for too long, but I think that that would be wonderful.
Okay, I'll let
Did
her know.
I miss anything? Would you like to add anything that folks need to know?
So we're, just to catch folks up in Palmetto Bay, obviously there's a lot going on. We're in the middle of a budget cycle. We are going to maybe be meeting tonight on the 14th at 6 p.m. For our first budget workshop. It's not a budget workshop, I'm sorry, it's a budget hearing. The second one's on the 23rd. We've got a lot of activities going on during the month of September, a lot of policy that's coming forward. We're also going to be wrapping up in the month of September our manager search, and I am super, super excited for the village. We had appointed somebody here to serve as village manager. Unfortunately, you know how it goes sometimes with contract negotiations, it just doesn't work out. So it didn't work out. So we've conducted another search. We've got some amazing candidates. Can't talk anything about it right now. But hopefully by the next time I'm on, I'll be able to introduce our new village manager, which I think will take us through the next many years. And I'm very, very excited about that.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, thank you once again for joining me. Thank you for following and listening, and thank you personally and everyone else watching and listening. So we'll be doing this.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Stay dry because it's supposed to be a lot of rain coming up.
Yes, we've been having that, again, I'm in North Florida now, and we do have our afternoon thunderstorms, and that is exactly what's happening outside right now. So it's the lightning that I don't like. The rain I'm okay with. The lightning I could do without.
Absolutely.
All right. We'll definitely talk to you in another month, especially in October. Mayor Cunningham, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Today's Talk with Erica. Join me next week for another discussion with the experts who help make life easier. Please visit my website, ericadelsordo.com, where you'll find all of my social media platforms and more. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Once again, thanks for listening.